Hi, everyone. So, I guess you could say welcome to the first episode of my podcast, which is The Pursuit of Happiness. Um, I'm doing this as I'm driving because I find that I'm always the most innovative and ideas come to me, and just my thoughts are much more collected and organized when I drive. I don't know if that's just because I'm much more in the present or I just have that time to finally just sit in with my thoughts, but I've always found driving, especially long distances, to be so therapeutic. Pop in a podcast and um, just sort of be alone with my thoughts. Um, and on my social media, especially my Instagram, I find that I have a lot more rants when I'm in the car because an idea will pop into my head and I'm like, I need to get this out to people that will listen. So here we are. I did a little bit of a drive today. I currently live in Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada. Moving very soon, though. We'll be moving out to Mexico shortly, in the next couple weeks, actually. So it's just myself and my daughter. I am a single mom, daughter to an 11-year-old, almost 12-year-old. Don't ask me how that happened. I swear she was just born yesterday. um, I am going to be 41 this year, so let's just throw that out there. Part of the reason that came to, and I want to say came to, is I feel like once I hit 40, or once I was about to hit 40, I really finally just kind of embraced who I was. And it's so hard for me to explain that because I'm still on that journey, hence the pursuit of happiness. And one thing, so just throw it out there, I'm an addict. Um, it's 4 years of complete sobriety, 3 years of not even pot. So, I mean, I think I started in January 1st of 2019. I completely quit smoking cigarettes. And that was on and off smoking cigarettes for years. And then prior to that, from I believe 2007 or 2006 till about 2011. No, sorry, more. 2008, my apologies, till about 2014, I was completely sober. And then I got into a relationship with a younger guy, not much younger, but, younger. And I was like, just relapse. I started just having a glass of wine here and there again. And then one thing led to another. And then I'm back to being who I was prior to getting sober. And from 2017, I sobered up again for about a year. And then, again, thought that I could have a glass of wine here and there. And then it wasn't until, I believe it was 2022, that I finally realized, I cannot consume anything without me becoming completely obsessive about it. Um, then I continued to smoke pot because pot was always just, I live in Vancouver, so always readily available. It was just to mellow you out. Then finally 2023 came around and I was like, you know what, I can't do this as well because I'm overcompensating in the pot area now that I'm not smoking cigarettes or doing at all anything. So I took that and I kind of turned it into my fitness. I completely geared everything into my fitness, which I love. I love fitness. I love being fit. I am a fitness connoisseur in all ways, shapes, or forms. I used to compete in bodybuilding competitions, more particularly the bikini shows, and then I moved up a little category to figure. But then that also is where, that was about 2014. That also kind of brought out the addiction side of me, and I realized that some parts, not all, but some parts of any industry, more particularly what I'm speaking of with bodybuilding, it wasn't always the most healthiest. So I, at that point, really took a backseat to my fitness as well. Not because I didn't like it, but because I was afraid of falling back into this trap. And as these podcasts go on, I will dive more into my life. I can't really explain everything in this hour that I kind of want to chat with you guys and introduce who I am. But it's been a journey. Okay. And so here we are today. Almost 7 years free. January 1st will be 7 years free of no cigarettes. January 1st will be 4 years free of alcohol and drugs. And then January 1st will also be 3 years completely free of pot, because for that 1 year I was California sober. So still smoking weed, one thing at a time, but it worked. And so here I am. And do I follow a specific program? No, I'm not part of a 12-step program. I just haven't found a community to do it in that works for me. Hopefully I will, though, at some point. I still am open to it. I find the ones out here in Vancouver tend to be quite judgmental. And of course, everyone as a human being is going to be judgmental. I mean, we've gone through things in life, and, for example, when you see things that are people call them red flags in people, friendship, businesses, whatever it is, if the business doesn't have Google reviews, could be a red flag. Of course, that's a judgment, we all have judgment based on past experiences and traumas. But I just found that the groups out here were it's almost like a cult. You can't have your nails done because why do you want your nails done? What are your nails? Frick, I want my nails done because I don't want to chew my nails. I'm allowed to get my nails done and still not want to be an addict. Do you know what I mean? It was just, you can't wear nice clothes. Why are you wearing nice clothes? Everyone has to look the same. So they can judge me based on my clothes and my nails, but I can't judge them based on them wanting to look like crap every day when you wake up. That's where I kind of draw the line. I'm not saying it hindered me from getting clean and sober. I'm completely clean and sober, and I'm very self-aware. I know myself so good that I need to feel good to look good, but I also need to look good to feel good. It goes hand in hand. This is human nature. This is why people go to the gym. This is why I enjoy, and I'm back at the gym. I just love the art of bodybuilding. I love pushing my body to the limits. And this is exactly why I go to the gym, because I want to walk out of there, and why I go, particularly in the morning, I want to walk out of there, I want to feel good. I want to be able to conquer the day. I want mental clarity. And to walk into rooms that kind of deny me of that, or say, you can't dress this way, you have to, because I'm Persian, my parents, so here we go, now we're going off on this tangent, so as you get to know me. I came to Canada in 1988. My parents had come from Iran because there was war. It was the Iran-Iraq war. My parents were both Muslim, not practicing Muslims, but, born into, Islam. But my dad didn't like that the regime was taking over, and that's when he had initially fled Iran, because he just was not into not being able to decide for yourself what you want to do. With the regime taking over, it kind of became much more of an imposed sanction imposed rules, I guess you could say, rather than you having the choice. My father didn't like that. So fast forward to 1988, they came out of Iran. We came to Canada. We were sponsored. We were never immigrants or refugees. We were sponsored. My parents had the choice of either the United States or Canada. We got access to Canada. We stayed. We were in Red Deer, Alberta, tiny little Red Deer, Alberta. In 1989, my brother was born in Alberta, so he's full Canadian. And then in, I believe, 95, we moved out to Vancouver, BC. So a Persian hick, as I like to call myself, but it's that choice. It's that choice of wanting to, be what you want, who you want. But taking this back to the NAs or the AAs that are out here, I just felt like it was more so the NAs, but same sort of culture out in Vancouver. It was almost imposing, you can't dress this way. You have to dress. When you start to dress this way, then you are free of. But it has nothing to do with clothes. It has nothing to do with clothing, or and if they're gonna just judge me already from walking through the doors on what I'm wearing, then that's not where I want to be. because I don't think they realize that in the end we're all the same. And so it's hard to be amongst a group of people that you're constantly being bullied by. So I was like, that's just not for me. But when I first did get sober, I did a lot of self-reflecting. I'm constantly journaling. I'm probably one of the most self-aware people that you will ever know. I know what triggers me. I can even tell you on which side I ovulate because I'm so self-aware and in tune with my body and whatnot. And even though sometimes I try to deny it to the outside world, deep down I know exactly what I'm doing. So I don't play dumb though. That's also, I can't do that. I just can't pretend to be somebody that I'm not. So I've done whatever I can to keep myself on the straight and narrow. Another thing that really helped me obviously was being a mom. I love my child. I never wanted to be married, but I also was indifferent to being a mom. And now I'm so happy that I'm a mom because she's my best friend and she's taught me so much about myself, and she's a smart girl. She wants to be a neurosurgeon, she says. First an anesthesiologist, now a neurosurgeon. And we did grow up poor. My parents were always a blue collar. I guess you could say they were always working for someone. They didn't have this entrepreneurial mindset because for them it was just coming here and making sure that they had money to put food on the table. With my daughter, I live a life that I make sure that I'm always there for her, to pick her up from school, to drop her off from school, to give her whatever she wants. There's such a fine line though, because I'm a millennial, 1984 baby I am. So like October the 8th, 84 to be exact. But it's always like, where's the line of she gets whatever she wants, but she should also be grateful. But I don't work this hard, and I didn't work this hard so that my child could scrape by, so that she understands. Like, it's not her fault. She's born into more, I don't want to say privilege because it's not at all, but she's born into more fruitfulness, I guess. The fruits of my labor. She has much more. She's born with a little bit more money than I did, than we had. And that's by choice. And I want her to live a life where she's not begging, and trauma doesn't come from. I had to wear one pair of jeans. I would beg my parents for jeans, and like, they bought me one pair, and that's the only pair of jeans I had for all throughout high school. So my daughter's a bit more. Her name's Mercedes. Mercedes is a bit more lucky, and has a lot more than I did at her age, and I am proud of that, and I'm proud of myself for being able to give her that and afford that for her. I'm a little bit more harder on myself, so now a little bit more of a tangent. I also was late diagnosed adulthood ADHD, which just explains so much of who I am, because I don't ever settle for less. Like, I cannot, and I'm still sort of searching for my passion, content. I love creating content, especially when it's around fitness, especially when I can voice my opinion. I have a very strong opinion. I want to be able to share that with people, and I think I give great advice. And so part of this, creating this podcast which is the pursuit of happiness, I want to be able to answer people's questions because I can give people advice on that same token, because I find that I'm great at it. Sometimes I'm like, I should be following my own advice, But for example, even when it comes to women who are just in friendships or relationships that just don't serve them, it's so easy to walk away. Just walk away. And I know sometimes it's a lot easier said than done, but I want to be that voice that can inspire someone to be like, you're not stuck and you're always able to walk, if you need resources, reach out to me, and I can try to give you as many resources as I can, or point you in the right direction so that you don't ever feel stuck, because feeling stuck is one of the worst feelings. And I've been there. I've been depressed. I've been an addict. I've been stuck in mindsets. That's the worst. At least when you're physically stuck, you can physically get yourself out of it. But when you're mentally stuck or spiritually stuck, it's like one of the hardest humps or hills to have to try to overcome in life, because you just don't ever know when you're going to be able to see the light again, you know? It's been a really tough journey that way. But back to part of me having this podcast, I don't even think I said my name, but hi, I'm Naz. But I was like, I want to be able to answer questions for people, give advice, and to the best of my ability. And if I can't, either point them in the right direction or get someone on, ask somebody else for their opinion, their advice, their what they would do in this situation, and then pass that information on, because I just always want to be helping people that way. But I feel like when I answer these questions about life advice, relationship advice, friendship advice, confidence advice, because a lot of people tell me you're so confident, and I don't know any different. Like, that's just who I am. Like, I just find that I never think that I'm better than, but I know, and I'm not comparing myself to people, but I know that I can do so much more. And that's, I think, the confidence and the energy that just draws people to me, you know, and that's something that I can proudly vouch for, because I know when I walk into a room, I don't want to be seen. I want to be the quietest person in the room, but for some reason, it's just all eyes get drawn to me, and I feel like it's an energy thing. And I just want to be able to meet one day a aura reader or like an energy reader and see like what they have to say about it, because I only can say what I know, you know, and this is just what I've known my entire life. Another thing is with my younger brother too, when we would hang out when we were younger a lot more, you know, people would always want to come hang out with us, like come to us, because it's the two of us. He's 5 years younger, because they're like, I love you guys. You guys have the best energy. You guys are the best. Like, it's always so fun to be around you guys. So people would kill two birds with one stone and come hang out with us, as opposed to we going and hang out with people individually, you know, like, and I'm 5 years older. So as soon as I graduated high school, my brother entered high school. So I wasn't there while he was there. You know, we've unfortunately never managed to be in school together, but people would ask my brother, oh, you're Naz's brother? Oh my God, I love her, blah, blah, yeah. You know, like we would attract that way, you know, like we don't even have to say anything. And I would say when I was younger, I was much more louder physically, because I wanted people to know that I was there, but I hadn't awoken to my confidence 100%, into my potential 100%. And now I walk into a room and I don't want to be seen. I don't want to be known. I don't want anyone to recognize who I am. If I could wear my sunglasses and my hat all day long, I would, but that's even more obvious than, oh, so what are you trying to hide, you know? But for some reason, just the energy, I draw people to me, and I love that. I find that to be my superpower. Even with my content creation, I can post lots of content, and I love being in the gym, but I know it's so different when people see me in the wild, live in person. They're like, whoa, you look incredible in person. Like, what are you? Sorry about that. My phone overheated. And since I want this to be able to put on YouTube as well, that didn't work. So I have to put it in front of the air conditioning for a little bit. But anyways, where was my superpower? When people see me in the gym, it's been hard for me to gain followers. I think part of it is because of just how I express myself. And I did have a lot of followers on social for a while, and then I stopped posting completely. Part of it was my daughter was getting older. For her safety, I just didn't want to post her photos. I've read a lot on the dark web, and I was one of those like true crime people. I'm slowly getting back into it, but I studied criminology as well. So I was very just aware of what happens to kids' photos. I'm a millennial. Internet is brand new. Now everything is public and open, but I just want to preserve her privacy for as long as I can. And now I'll post her here and there, but just, you know, not to the full extent yet that I want to, and all her stuff is private. Anyways, I also went through a phase from when after I had done my last competition, which was 2016, to about 2020, I would say even 23, where I just hated my body. Because I didn't, so I was always in great shape. Then when I had gotten pregnant in 2013, I just was like, okay, I'm pregnant. I get to do whatever I want. And I wasn't with a man I was in a relationship with. It was just someone that we were just kind of dating on and off. Which I will get into that in a complete other time. But anyways, what ends up happening is my daughter's due date was 2 days literally after mine. So I'm October 8th. She's born October 10th. My father, October 12th. So hi, welcome to us Libras. My brother's August 13th. My mom's November 13th. And he's a Leo and she's a Scorpio. So we have three Libras, and then a Scorpio and a Leo. It's nuts. But I'm very close to my family. Anyways, back to the entire content creation thing. So I had stopped posting. I stopped taking photos of myself. And then 39 hits the beginning of 2024. And I had started going back to the gym. In December of 2023, I had kind of established that I want to move to Mexico, to Cabo in particular. And I had started working out again. I was like, September of 2023, I started working out again. And I was like, what I'm going to do is I'm just, once I drop my daughter off at school, and I've always sort of had a job that I was working from home, or I could make my own schedule, part of the ADHD, which we'll get into as well. But I was like, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to always go to the gym or just move my body, even if it's for 10 minutes a day. And if I can't move my body that day, I'm not going to dwell on it. I'm not going to get mad at myself. I am just going to be like, you know what? I always have tomorrow. Because I have been so all or nothing. But in this time of my life where I hated myself and I'd not taken photos of myself in years, I was like, I need to get back to just being happy with who I am. So then when January, and then we go to Mexico in December, I'm working out. I can already see my progress. Like now when I go back and look at the photos, I can see that there was progress being made. And then January 2024 rolls around, and I just continue on with that mindset. I just didn't pay attention to it. I just had the time during the day to be able to go to the gym for about 2-3 hours tops. So I was just taking full advantage of that. And there were times that I couldn't even get there for a week, but I was like, I'm just going to try to move my body. May of 2024 rolls around, and I remember specifically, I just felt like I feel a lot leaner. One thing I also did was I just stopped weighing myself, because I'm telling you, that scale is just, it makes you a prisoner of it, Anyways, stop weighing myself. When May rolled around, I could just feel. I'm like, I feel leaner, but I did not still hop on the scale. I was like, I'm not going to do it until I want to. I remember one day I looked in the mirror. I'm like, oh my God, my face looks really lean, like dyed face. My mom is definitely going to say something to me when I see her. And my mom's trigger is that when I was really, really lean before, it was because of drugs. So now I'm paranoid. I'm like, I don't know what she's going to say. Is she going to think that this is drugs? Is someone going to believe that I've worked my butt off to get to this point? So I started wearing makeup again, because I had stopped wearing makeup for so long. In fact, when COVID hit, I was working in a gym and we had to wear masks. I was the general manager at one point. So I just started getting my lashes done in 2023. It was 2020 when COVID happened. I resigned from the gym in 2022. But for those periods, all I could do was my eyelashes to look somewhat normal, because like with the mask on, I'm not going to be wearing makeup to get breakout and whatnot. So I didn't even stop wearing makeup. But then this is just of last year, May 2024 rolls around. I'm like, okay, I need to put on some makeup just so I don't look like I'm dying of something. Of course, mom says something, I get triggered, but I felt kind of good. I'm like, so I am getting lean? And I jumped on the scale, and lo and behold, I had lost 25 pounds. And I'm like, whoa, how did that happen? But it's just consistency and me not paying too much attention to it. Like even sometimes now when my daughter is thinking about something too much, I'm like, you gotta stop thinking about it, and then one day you're gonna wake up and it's happened. That's what happened. Uh, and to try to maintain it, like, I mean, it wasn't the best. I was just so happy that I was lean. I sort of went through a midlife crisis because this is like, I'm 39 at this point. I'm going to be 40 in the next few months of that year, so October. So I had gone, I got brand new clothes shopping. I just was taking photos of myself again. I was like, I'm never going to allow myself to get to a point where I'm not taking photos of myself again, or I'm not happy with myself. I'm going to learn how to maintain. Maintenance is really hard for me. I get there. I get to the destination. I can drive 15 hours to get to this beautiful mountain, and I look at it and I leave. It's like, okay, no, you were supposed to hike it. Why are we leaving? So it was a complete, like, I'm telling you, like when 40 was about to hit, things changed inside of me. Anyways, so I got lean, and then I was eating like literally like bags of candy. I lived off the Sour Patch Kids because I was craving that sugar that year. There was just so much sugar I wanted to eat. So anyways, that happens. September, October roll around, and my eating, because it wasn't necessarily like, I had just conquered losing the weight. I wasn't focused on my nutrition at all, coming from the bodybuilder. I kind of took it for granted. And then slowly that catches up to you. So I did gain a little bit of the weight back. Not a lot. I mean, I would say maybe I'm like 10, 15 pounds. So I got down to 130, but 10, 15 pounds over. But I definitely wasn't 165, which is where I was years prior, So that happened. And then I was pushing myself again in the gym. I'm like, I need to get back to where I was. I'm making all this content. But in that time frame, I started posting again. I said, when my birthday rolls around, when I hit 40, I want to start posting content again because I had stopped for so long, and I'm proud of myself. And my motto is going to be, it's never too late and you're never too old. People can't believe that I'm 40. And I think part of it is like, I know on paper I'm getting older, but like in my mind, I'm just getting started, And so that's the energy that I want to share with people. Most importantly, women, because as women, we're just so, it's never a good time to do anything. You're a mom now, can't do it. You're a student now, can't do it. You're too young, can't do it. You're too old, can't do it. So when is the right time? It's always the right time, is what I want to say. For anybody, man, woman, anybody. If you feel it in your heart, it's always the right time. And one thing that I'm known for amongst my friends is that I just go for it. I'm very adventurous. I'm a big risk taker, which doesn't always sometimes put me in the best situations financially. Because like last year, spent lots of money that I had saved because I was buying a new wardrobe, and I bought all this furniture on Amazon only for my job to completely get nixed and et cetera, et cetera. Now, mind you, by that time, which is now December of 2024, I've gained a little weight again, and my finances are like, I'm like living literally paycheck to paycheck. I realized, you know what? At least I got started, which is something that as someone with ADHD, it's so hard. Like, you're a perfectionist. You have to only start when it's perfect. I was like, at least I'd started and I had all this social media content. And then back to what I was saying about when people see me in person, it's one thing when I post, but I'm the type of person that when people actually see me, then they start to follow me. When they see me in the gym, then I get like 10 more follows on social media. And then it's oh my God, I saw you in the gym. You look incredible. And then they follow. Like, and I feel that let's bring it back full circle to circle back around to what I was saying. All it has to do with the energy that I bring. It's they meet the energy, they see the aura, they feel it. And that's my superpower. So sorry I went off on a bit of a tangent. I'm ADHD, so I do. And that is exactly why I want to have questions. So I'm able to answer questions, give people my advice from true to my heart, and then been able to also get into stories about my life through there, because or else it's just going to be all these tangents. So that's a little bit about who I am. I do have a website. It's www.thepursuitofhappinessnoz.com. So thepursuitofhappinessnoz.com. I'm on Instagram. I'm on Twitter. I am now going to have the podcast, The Pursuit of Happiness Noz. I am on TikTok. Please email me your questions. I would love to answer them. Find me on any of my social media. I'm also on Facebook. Find me on my social media platforms. DM me. Noz, I heard your podcast. I would love if you could answer my questions. Eventually, as I find a format to be able to take them in a little bit more, I will. I do have a The Pursuit of Happiness Noz Instagram and The Pursuit of Happiness TikTok as well. You can find me on those. All these links will be in my main TikTok and Instagram account, which is Noz, N-O-Z, last name Kazemi, K-A-Z-E-M-I, all one word. Noz Kazemi. You can find me on TikTok, on Instagram, on YouTube. I'll be posting these on YouTube as well. Facebook. Find me. Let's connect. Let me try to help you out as much as I can with the fitness. And I'm a side hustle person. Part of me moving to Mexico is I want to pursue my dream. I just want to slow down a little bit. I feel like I got so caught up when I spent all this money. And don't get me wrong, I'm so happy with the clothes that I have now. I have a whole bunch of nice dresses from Mexico. But I need to remember that that's not always what life is about. And sometimes I get lost in the sauce, you know? So moving to a place like Cabo, where it's developing, it's not third world at all. It's developing. Rent is just as expensive as rent in Vancouver, but will I be able to order from Amazon every day and get toilet paper sent to the house like that? Am I always going to be in a rush driving everywhere? Like, where am I in a rush going? I just want to slow down and I want to enjoy my life and I want to do things that I love and I don't want to be a slave to the grind. You know, I love to work and I love making money. So before someone says I'm being lazy or I don't want to make money, no, I love working and I love making money, but I want to wake up and love what I do. And I don't want to wake up and be depressed in a city where, now Vancouver's gorgeous, FYI, but in the summer for 3 months. Other than that, you have rain for 10 months out of the year. It's gray and it's wet and like drugs are rampant because it's just the mental illness takes over. And let's just take the city out of it. It has nothing to do with Vancouver anymore. It has to do with me. Back to what I was trying to explain to other people. Like, we're not stuck. You can get up and move from your situation anytime you want. And if people want to say that you're running away, let them. As Mel Robbins would say, let them. Let them say whatever you want. You know that that's not what you're doing. Because if that is what you're doing, eventually it's going to catch up to you. Everywhere you go, it's going to be the same situation. And once you realize that you are running away, you're going to fix it. But let people say whatever they want. And that's been a really hard thing for me, allowing people to think whatever they want, because I've always wanted people to view me how I view me, but that's never going to happen. People will never see you how you see you, and you're never going to see people how they see themselves. So once you get over that barrier, which I did, I'm just living for me now. I want to be by the beach because that's what gives me solitude and peace and comfort. And I want to have sun in my life all the time, the sunshine. And I want to immerse myself in a culture that's very similar to Iran's culture, which is where originally I'm from. Not that I remember too much of it, but, you know, the family orientation, the siesta during the day where you go home for 4 hours and you sleep because it's just so hot, you know? And the culture and the camaraderie and the friendliness, the neighbor, you know, it's just, and where the phones are not the most important thing, right? So anyways, so I'm going to have one episode a week where I kind of go off on tangents and I answer questions. And I want to have maybe 1 or 2 episodes a week where I go into, because it is the pursuit of happiness and we're always on the pursuit. And one thing that I absolutely love are my shows on Bravo. So I've been a housewife watcher from the beginning. I want to, and it fascinates me because I don't have friendships that way. I barely have friends. I know lots of people, but do I have close friends where, hey, let's meet up and go for coffee? No. So I'm not envious, but I look at it like, wow, is that really possible? So I want to deep dive into my Bravo shows, and I believe the newest one has come out right now. So I'm going to start with I believe it's the Real Housewives of London. So I'm going to start with that, and we are going to dive into that. And I will do a rewatch in the next couple of days where I kind of, not a rewatch, sorry, a recap. I'm going to recap episode 1 and 2. And that's really about it. If there's anything else that you guys kind of want to know or want me to cover, let me know, please. I don't know how often I'm going to be able to do these podcasts in the car, but it is very soothing for me. It's therapeutic for me. So hopefully you guys can kind of gain a little bit of something and we can become friends and build a community here. And I want a community that people will feel safe and know that it's never too late and you're never too old. Never listen to what people say. We can always, as long as we are not in the ground, we can do whatever the frig we want. With that being said, you guys, I'm going to sign off. This will be the first episode. You can also catch these episodes on YouTube. You can kind of see me as well. If you just don't want to listen, sometimes it's like putting a voice to the face or a face to the voice, you know. So feel free to catch me on YouTube as well. Same thing, Naz Kazemi. That's sort of like my brand for my personal brand. But then the pod will have its own Instagram and TikTok, and as well, obviously, the podcast has its own name. It's not going to be my personal name. So with that being said, I want to thank you guys so much for joining me today. And, you know, these will get better and better. I will eventually have some guests on. I'm not too sure how. I mean, we're just starting. So come with me on this journey. It's always a journey. It's always just, let's see where it takes us, you know, and it's so fun when you can be with people that are there with you from the beginning. So I just kind of want to say that. And with that being said, I want to just thank everyone for being on this journey with me. And let's just see where life can take us and what we can accomplish together with the support of each other. So that being said, I will sign off right now. Don't forget, I will have the Bravo rewatch recap this week of the Housewives of London. That should be coming out in the next couple of days. And we'll just kind of take it from there. Thanks, guys.